Right. And we are live. Expedition to Castle Ravenloft in the 13th Age, episode 11 and a half, 12. Last session was cut short because I was unfit for duty. Hopefully we have not lost anybody with that little half-hour debacle. 3 players this week. Aaron couldn't make it, but Pierce is back, so we have our Inquisitor. Heinrich, I understand you didn't have a chance to level Heinrich up, so there's no real changes to discuss, but I just wanted to remind you and everybody else, last session that you were here, you got dropped by Sheravanog.
Yes.
And at the time, I described his wounding you as not just being a physical wound, but also one that brought forth memories, guilt. And you said that you were guilty about feeling guilty that maybe you were a little bit overzealous and tortured innocents and anything like that. Did you want to elaborate on any of that? Did you have any new thoughts, or we're just going to leave that as it is and move on for now?
I like how it is. If I can think of anything to maybe flesh that out or expand upon it, I will. I'll let you know. But
Okay.
I feel like Heinrich would be uncomfortable, like exploring the emotions around that. You know. So
Maybe I won't, but hopefully I'll find a way to bring that into the game at some point in the future. The other thing, and just in case, because I think I'm just going to outright recommend that people skip 11, because not a heck of a lot happened for a half hour. Oh crap, I just lost my train of thought. Well, that's embarrassing. Oh, yes. Okay. So, I had to do kind of like a little retraction here because I insisted Sheranog was a devil, and he's not. He is a demon. Point to Ember on that one. Turns out I didn't do all the prep that I should have, and I didn't actually look up who Sheranog was in D&D lore. And when I did go back after that session to try and look that up, I discovered that there is next to nothing about this guy. Virtually everything about him came from this module, and apart from the fact that he's a demon from the verdant plane is pretty much all anybody knows. So I'm going to stick with the description. He's definitely like twice as tall as anybody that you've ever seen humanoid-wise. At least that isn't a giant. And he looks humanoid in many respects. He does have like horns and claws, like I described. Still has the regal vestments, but in this case, the regal vestments are actually like a deep forest green. And Ember's checks that he was making for knowledge would, turn up pretty much only the fact that he's the master of the verdant realm, which he really doesn't know anything about aside from the clue green, but also that he seems to have some kind of connection with nature, evil druids, that sort of thing. And kind of build from that. And also, I want to reiterate, this is not the actual demon that was summoned, but an aspect of the demon, a projection into this plane of existence. So he's not as powerful as the actual demon would be, but so it is possible that he could actually be defeated under the proper circumstances, but you still don't know the purpose for which he was summoned, and I think that that was part of the idea that you guys are actually going to try and track down the cultists now. So, Kenthis.
Mm-hmm.
John, why don't you tell us how Kenthis assisted in Ragnar's attempt to track the cultists
I
at the end of the last session.
I stood directly on the track to better highlight it.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, I just sort of scuffed my feet around angrily, and kicking up dust.
Rolling ones.
Yeah, just constant ones. I'm using an online roller this time. I don't trust my dice anymore.
Have we gone through all of them by now?
Yeah, we have. I actually have. I have like 5 d20s switched each game, but apparently it's just me.
All right. So, at this point, there's really nothing left for you guys except to head out. And the decision that you had was that you were going to head east to the crossroads, which is the next feature of import on the map as you follow the road down from the Saga Hill as it winds around and then turns east. The crossroads, you may remember, has a gallows where criminals have been hanged, or in the past, one assumes, and then buried there in kind of a potter's field of sorts. So it's a very grim space that you go through, where anybody coming through this crossroads is just confronted with death and surrounded by it on all sides. You guys were leaving in the morning, so it's probably mid-morning around lunchtime by the time you get to the crossroads. Because it's a bit of a long trek, I think, to get there.
And we didn't pass any travelers on the way.
No, there were no travelers on the road. From here, from the crossroads, out the direction that you're coming from, unless they're going to the ruins on the Saga Hill, they would probably almost have to be going to the castle Ravenloft themselves. There's really not much else out there of interest.
Okay. So basically we have to decide at the crossroads whether we're going to go to town or go to the gypsy camp or see if we can track these guys again. Kenthis, do you want to try and see if you can kick up more dirt, or and I can take a look with my demon hunting skills, but I look a little bit more for other signs than I look for more demonic signatures than human signatures. I'm not really great at following humans.
Yeah, you guys are going in the opposite direction in a sense than from where Sherivanog was going.
Right. I'm talking about the cultists. I'm trying to see if we can find the cultists.
I was just reinforcing the fact that you were definitely not going after him at this time.
Yes, because he would just kick our ass.
Yeah, we just lost John. So maybe we redirect that question to Heinrich, and hopefully John will be back with us shortly.
I don't know if Heinrich has any tracking abilities as far as finding people, or do we just go to the town or the gypsy camp? Probably the gypsy camp. See if we can find out if they know anything about.
I'm not much of a tracker, but I can interrogate the hell out of those gypsies if they do know anything. I'm a people person.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to interrogate them because they are kind of some of our only friends, if you can call it that, in this crazy land. I'm not sure what we can offer them this time, but it might be worth a try.
If you remember, Kenthis made a promise of a future favor or something like that, to Madame Ava. So I'm almost wondering if we may have to do something similar, and maybe just straight up telling them, hey, so we didn't allow a demon to get summoned, but it got summoned, and letting them know that information maybe.
We can just tell them that we were there when it happened.
We observed it being happening, but maybe if we share what we know they'll share what they know.
Yeah,
If
at the very
not, then
least, they'll be
maybe
interested.
we'll need to rethink making a future, giving a blank check to Madame Ava.
Well, I guess at the crossroads, I'll make a check to see if I can figure out with my tracking. Granted, they're demon tracking skills, but I'll see if I can find out if I can track the cultists, because I don't want them getting too far. If we can help it. Yeah, I rolled a 10, so that's not that great. That would be, what would that be? I guess
Well, you add your level, and you
16
add.
and so 20.
All right. Well, 20's not bad. Where's my reference? 20's not bad. But this is a hard pack road, so I'm going to say that it's actually harder to track people on the road because it resists there being tracks left.
Right. Sensible.
And my
Were the cultists dressed in green? I remember them being in white, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, 20's not going to make it. I don't think I described their robes, did I?
I don't
I
remember.
kind of imagined them in the standard black, especially for a night ritual and all of that, trying not to be seen.
Okay. Black robes it is.
All right, so a quick search of the area doesn't reveal any clues as to where the cultists went to when they came down off of the hill. And at that time, when you were leaving the hill, it was because Kenthis was obscuring the tracks by his really poor attempt to assist Ragnar. Here, it's just that it's just nothing that you could see.
Yeah. So I kind of walk around the crossroads and look at Heinrich and say, "Yeah, well, I'm beat. Let's go press some gypsies."
And how? I'm bored.
All right. So you're moving on to the gypsy camp, and you get there late lunches, and people recognize you as you coming in. There's a watch as always for people coming out of the forest into the open glade near the river, and people wave to you as you come in, and they're just in general the cheerful sort, but they're going about their daily routines. They're not really taking time off to address you.
Before we get too far into the camp, I'm gonna sort of whisper to Heinrich, should we mention that we have the Sun Sword?
I think we should probably keep that to ourselves.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to confirm that.
And if I recall, Heinrich has the Sun Sword, right?
I think
No,
Ragnar has
does.
it.
Oh, Ragnar. Okay. So, yeah, he can wrap it up in a cloak and stow it with his gear. He can, not, display it. Not a problem.
Yeah, just another sword, nothing to see here.
Definitely don't have the Sun Sword, guys. Definitely did not find that.
Nope. This old thing? Just a spare.
It's just a prop.
All right. So, John hasn't made it back. This does not bode well. You guys want to role play through this without him, or do you want to call it quits and then we'll come back another time? We'll just restart episode 12. I think we can carry a show by ourselves. I'm just concerned about any actual decision making without having a majority.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'd hate to make a decision without Aaron or John here. I mean, I feel like Bryant and I could make some good, smart decisions, but at the same time,
well, we can make some decisions. I don't know if they'd be good or smart, but they'd be decisions.
Well, sometimes that's all we need. All right, so I'm going to call it quits then. I'm going to delete this episode from YouTube. I feel like crap for that because I was really hoping that we could finally get some momentum again back in the game.
Want to give him a couple more minutes, or?
Let's see, it's been 10 minutes already? Usually if somebody's coming back, they're back by now. Alright.
At least 5.
Well,
I don't know.
let's give it a little bit more time. Let's play through whatever questions you guys have, and if he's not back by the time it comes time to make a decision, then we will call it quits, and then we'll leave the video up, and we'll let them watch and catch up, and we'll pick it up with the next session then. Alright, so you're in the camp, and nobody's, everybody's friendly and waving, but they're not really taking time from their routine. So it's up to you to make something happen here, and you can see Madame Eva's trailer, and the layout of the place is fairly familiar to you by now because it's not a huge camp. It's just a matter of what would you like to do now?
What was?
We could talk to the, I guess the quote-unquote little people, not Madame Eva, and see if they just happen to have any like passing knowledge just from basic conversations.
Well, what sort of questions would you ask?
Well, nothing like too explicit, I guess. Like, hey, have you seen some guys running around in black cloaks or anything like that? I can't think of proper wording or anything, but just like subtly look for clues that perhaps they know about, like darker goings on.
Anything odd? Have you noticed anything odd happening up at Lysaga Hill, or we've heard rumors of this of some dark happenings with the area. And of course, that's in Ravenloft. That's kind of like saying, "Hey, it's the ocean."
Hey,
is
did
wet,
the sun come up today?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I would just see if they heard anything, if they've heard of any odd happenings going on up at Lysaga Hill.
Alright, so normally I would just make up some answers and roleplay this out, particularly if you came up with something specific and good. But I think that this is actually going to call for a skill check to see if you manage to get in an opening with somebody to kind of bring out detail. So you can both roll. That's fine, because you guys can split up and talk to people, or you can talk to different people without splitting up in case somebody draws a knife. That sort of thing. Definitely this would be charisma plus your level, and backgrounds.
I'm gonna use my street thug background to kind of, intimidate them a little bit, but like, I'm trying to think how I would play it.
Okay, so you're bad cop.
I was thinking of using an interrogator and actually going good cop before he said even bad cop, so this is perfect. Since that's one of my backgrounds, so bad cop works for me.
Yeah, so I'll
Heinrich takes the lead.
Yeah.
Ember looms menacingly, paces behind the interviewee, and
I just flex. Do you want to take the lead, Heinrich, or do you want me to take the lead, or?
I feel like since these are, as you said earlier, there are kind of our only allies, that maybe we'll lead with the honey rather than the vinegar.
Yeah, because we've also seen them shut up pretty quickly when intimidated, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, hi, how are you? Have you seen anything strange? Now, it kind of sounds like you're asking about what sort of troubles that they may have, and if there's anything you could do to help, sort of thing. Is
Um,
that kind of the vibe, or
that, but also just kind of getting feelers for if they've heard of, I guess, any strange goings on. Like, man, just walking around the crossroads earlier, and I saw some strange people. Have you seen any strange people around here lately?
all right? Make your rolls.
Oh, that's not good. That's a 12 total.
Ooh, 24.
Excellent. All right. So, excuse me. Walking around, asking people about strange comings and goings and all that. You, for the most part, people will just share rumors of Lasaga Hill's past. All stuff that you kind of knew going into it, about it being an old monastery and where nobles would sometimes go to serve out some sort of penance and be out of view for a little while. Oh, she's back from her 10-month hiatus. All kinds of stuff. Followed by, um, how the place kind of went bad, and then there was a big fire, and all the sin and iniquity, all not forgotten but gone, right? Um, a couple of people will admit to seeing lights at night sometimes, but most people are asleep and don't really notice the displays or even hear them from this distance. It's just from here it would just be a flickering in the night, and if you weren't really looking that way, you probably wouldn't even notice. Kind of like distant lightning sort of thing.
See, now that kind of brings up the question of my question to them is, so you're notoriously curious people, and you see these lights and you do nothing and you don't look to see what's going on and you don't really seem to care that much?
Oh, the woods aren't safe at night. No, no, we all stay in the camp at night. Of course, some of us will go out during the day to investigate the ruins, but we never really find much of anything. I mean, broken pots, few rusting tools. You know, anything of value has been stripped out long ago, and there's really no evidence of anything going on up there. I say evidence, but they don't see any sign of that,
Right. So
or at least
so they say.
who you were just talking to. Other stuff that you turn up is there's one cranky old lady, one really old grandma who's just doesn't sleep well at all, and especially not with all that trampling about after midnight.
Trampling about.
Yeah, I mean, of course, people get up sometimes to do their business. Usually, they just use a proper chamber pot and then throw it out into the river in the morning. But no, there's always one or two that have to be like big brave men and walk out into the bushes and you know,
Good way to get bit.
yeah,
Which
stuff
two?
like that.
They sound pretty brave. We could use some brave people. Which two?
She says, I don't know who they are. I just yell at them through the door to be quiet and at least tiptoe if you're gonna have walk through the camp at night or something.
You're so right. You're so right. How rude.
Yeah, she has looked out the window on occasion, but all she sees is dark patches in the night, and by then all the campfires are out, and it's hard to distinguish. If they were 3 to 5 feet from her window at that point, not so bad, but somebody stumbles and curses in the night, pretty much, you're not going to see it unless it's right in your face.
I'm going to ask her, I was talking to some people in town, and they were talking about a hag up on the Lysaga Hill. You've had a lot of experience. Have you heard any stories about a hag up there?
And she just cackles and says, well, depending on the time of year I go up there to harvest, they could have been talking about me. I've heard some of the things people have said about me.
I like this woman, Ember. I like her.
As an aside, John is available again, but he's not able to get into the chat by himself. You might need to send an invite.
All right, let me take care of that real quick. And peoples.
Yeah, she does seem smoky. There we go.
So, how did Kenthis just die again? I totally forgot.
Well, he was mouthing off to this little old lady you were just talking about.
He rolled a 1 and fell down a hill? I don't know.
Yeah, like Saga Hill, I guess.
He got stabbed to death by crochet hooks. She reached up his nose and yanked at his brain by the optic nerve.
It's pretty gross.
And I think he's still having. Yeah, he's hang out, but he can't see us.
That is bizarre.
No, of course, Pierce asks an actual question that I'm like, have you turned it off and back on again? He's like, well, can you at least hear us? And then we can have somebody.
He's gone again.
All right.
Maybe he's reconnecting. So,
Okay.
Do we want to see if we can befriend this old lady anymore, or do we want to ask her any other questions? What what can we say without showing our hand?
I ask her if she's heard of the angry god of the blazing sun. I have some literature. I'd just like to leave it with you.
She gives you a suspicious look, sniffs loudly and disapprovingly, and then just walks in and closes the door.
Oh boy! I told you not to preach to these people too much.
So John, John's having some
receptive.
trouble here. John's having some trouble here. He could be here. We can't hear him, and he can't see us. But I'm thinking that as long as he can hear us and type in the sidebar, then one of you two guys can jump in and like role play for him based on what he says, and then he's kind of. Oh no, he can't hear us. Damn. All right. Well, we'll keep going while he continues to troubleshoot. Looks like he's still working on it.
Did you actually send him an invite, or did he pop in?
No, he popped in before I had a chance.
Okay.
And that's all the invite should have been able to do.
Right. Is our old friend the guy that Heinrich almost killed back in the elf camp? Is he around?
Almost kill him. We're not friends.
The guy that Heinrich almost converted. I'll put it that way. You interrogated him real good.
All right, I'm sorry, I was typing something to him. Where are we going? You alienated the young lady, old lady, and you'll have to find somebody else to pester.
Yeah, we were gonna look around for I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I'm looking for his name too.
Matthews?
Matthews.
Yeah, Matthews.
I knew it was like a first name plural. I just couldn't remember what it was.
He's out cutting wood, but he'll be back later this evening.
Okay. Trying to think of who else we can talk to. And I guess we can go straight to the source and go to Madame Eva, or ask to see if we can see Madame Eva.
Yeah.
She tended to see through us pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking we probably need to do it sooner rather than later, and then just because of the Abram prey. I don't know. Heinrich tries to stumble his way through Pig Latin, and it does not work. But we're short on time.
Yes. All right, then I guess we'll see if we can go in and see Madame Ava.
All right. She's probably the only person in the camp who is not busy with tasks the same way everybody else is. She's kind of so I mean she's doing things, but she's kind of always available to be interrupted, sort of thing. And so she greets you. Yeah, absolutely. Come on in. What can I do for you, fine young gentlemen, today?
So we come into some information that we thought that you and your people would like perhaps to know, and we'd like to exchange it for some other information. Little quid pro quo.
Ah, business then.
Yes.
Very well. And she sits down at her little table where she sits in the corner and looks out over the table towards you. And she motions for you guys to sit on some large pillows that are set against the far side of the, well, I say far side, but against an opposite wall, so that you can sit down and do business in a more comfortable position. And so, what sort of information is it that you would want from me?
The location of some individuals.
People.
Yes, people. And I know you're a people person.
And what sort of information are you willing to offer?
The world-ending kind.
Oh, I have no interest in ending the world.
Oh, no. It's keeping your people safe from the world ending.
And is there any reason why you, as good neighbors and friends of the Vistani, would not share information about threats to us, rather than bartering it to us like some mercenary?
Well, we know that you love your business, and we too are fine connoisseurs of business as well. We're just playing the game.
For the sake of the form,
Yes,
shall we drive bargains then Shall we drive bargains then while our enemies fall upon us and cut us to ribbons, or whatever this threat may be? Blink, Beard! Blink! Who blinks first?
My video froze, so I probably blinked.
Yeah, because she's tall. She's like 8 feet, even hunched over.
Yikes.
Wow.
Large features, almost too big for the face. Dressing in robes and gypsy finery and with a nice big shawl.
Heinrich looks pensive for a moment and says, "You know, you're right. Good neighbors and friends like us. We would share information with one another. You're right. You're absolutely right. The finest, Madame Ava. We have information for you, and we would like to keep the Vistani free of this threat. And you have information for us, and with that information, we could keep you safe. So what say us, friends, share this information. It is pointless to barter. The art of business can be set aside for another day."
This is really smooth. I just jumped in on this halfway, but it's really smooth.
Very, very well then. Well stated. Let us hear about this threat so that I might reciprocate with my gratitude.
So, we have from a reliable source that an aspect of the demon Chernobog has been summoned into the world.
And she looks around wide-eyed for a few moments. And
Now
she
you know what I
mutters
mean about.
something under her breath that sounds like, so she did it then. That bitch! Clearly you weren't intended to hear that.
Who's she?
The hag, maybe?
And she
I'm
goes,
asking Ava.
Oh.
and she just whips around and gives you not the evil eye, but a approximate and less full of
Stink
malice. Yeah, it's the stink eye. That's the first level version.
Okay.
So, it's a look that tells you shouldn't have heard that, and I'm not telling you shit.
Fair enough. See, I told you, pretty bad.
Yeah.
As my friend Sir Marty of Twin Valley says, it's heavy.
Very well, then. Who is this witness of yours?
They're reliable but wish to remain anonymous.
Oh,
I can vouch for them.
I see. And she starts moving around objects on the table a little bit, straightening up the runner,
They're
pulling
simply
up her
scared for their-
cards and
they're simply scared for their safety.
putting her tarot cards aside and cleaning up a few herbs and moving the ritual knife. And she says, "Have you been up to the Saga Hill recently?"
What hill?
Lysaga Hill.
Oh, no, I was in character.
But hearing that exchange in characters is, oh, so you've heard of it.
Well, yes, we heard that that's where the demon was summoned.
Yeah, we've heard actually of the history of it from your own people.
By some
fact.
cult or something like that. I don't know. I was only half listening to this source anyways, but some sort of cult or some, I don't know. The person that we talked to said that, they heard that this cult was going to go up to Lysaga Hill and was going to summon this demon, and I don't know.
Yeah, and when we were asking some of your people about it before we came to talk to you, they even said that they had seen strange lights there at night, and that even when they had gone to investigate themselves, they had found nothing. So we just decided to come to you, Madam Ava, with this information. We wish to find these cultists.
Who among my people are so knowledgeable to have provided you with all of these details?
We didn't get their names.
There's a short guy.
Could you describe
another
them?
guy?
Another short guy. This other short guy.
He's short and all time with sharp and doughy features.
All right. So, I suppose you have fulfilled some end of the bargain. So, what is it that you would want from me?
We seek the information and location of these cultists so that we may send the aspect of the demon Chernobog back from the hells of which he came.
And you think that if I know about these cultists and have perhaps failed to prevent the summoning of a dire threat to our people and everyone in this valley?
Well, I mean, Madam Ava, you know everybody.
As an aside, not to kind of cook our own goose, but would Heinrich still be kind of... no, I guess he would have healed, but I was going to say, would he be sporting any of the big gashing wounds? I guess with a full rest, maybe not.
Mechanically,
my armor's all screwed up too.
yeah. Mechanically, he's fine for hit points, but narratively, yeah. I mean, there's no way he's made 100% recovery by now, so he could definitely show the bound wounds and the damaged armor and
I'm
everything
clutching
that
my
goes with
cloak
that.
tightly around
Yeah.
me. Like,
You
it's really
fell down
cold.
the stairs, right?
Some nasty wolves, yeah.
Yeah, some wolves. Yeah, you know
So, yeah,
everything,
Wolf
Madam
bites have
Ava.
a nasty way of becoming fatal around here.
Yes, they do.
I am afraid that what you ask of me is not possible at this time, but possibly I can make a few inquiries and point you in the right direction if given a few days.
I'm not sure that we have a few days. From the demon may be rampaging around at this point.
I'm not sure that we have a few days either, but unfortunately, you've asked for something that I do not know, and it does take time to divine these things.
Maybe she knows, and maybe we can go ask her.
She-who?
That's what I wanted to know too, and you gave me that look.
If I might interject, maybe instead of any divining, if any of her own people, who I'm sure are very skilled and intrepid travelers, might be willing to assist us. Maybe they are more skilled in the art of tracking.
Well, first, excellent point. But first, to the young man who asked she who, she wishes to remain anonymous. I'm sure you understand the confidentiality that I must maintain as the mother of the vistani in many respects.
Discretion, of course.
But to answer the young sorcerer's question, if you truly do suspect some of my own people to be members of the cult, whom would I know to trust? And to recommend to trust you? Surely it would be very poor of me as the hostess and leader of this community to put your lives in danger by asking a potential cultist to investigate cultists. I'm sure that that person would take steps in order to mislead you, or worse.
Although, I might tack on to that. If a cultist so willingly adds himself to our expedition, then he's just done our job for us. I mean, I don't mean to brag, but we are really good at figuring stuff out. I have a feeling that especially our Inquisitor of the Blazing Sun, he's pretty good at seeing through people.
I'm sorry, John. I'm going to stop you right there. You can finish, but I'm going to stop you right there.
All right.
Yeah, that's a 1. No.
My luck extends to other people rolling.
No, I'm kidding. I rolled an 18. So, level 6 now, right? So that's 24 plus any positive modifier.
He does have a really good charisma.
Yeah.
I do.
See? So I'm going to say that, all right, so be it. This is what you want. Then I shall lend you one of my people to help you investigate this, and that will count as your answer.
Oh.
Whoa. Whoa. No, whoa.
I think it should be clear from this exchange that she's not too terribly happy with the vagueness of the source of the information or the details, while she has no doubt that you know something because you dropped a bomb on her, that she seems to know something about it. But you post stuff like that in the sidebar, man. You know what's going to happen. So you just dropped a bomb on her and then immediately clammed up on any details that would allow her to verify and act upon this. And now you're asking her to potentially give up people that she knows, possibly insinuating that she knows about this whole thing that's going on. And so she's a little less inclined to be too forthcoming or to be too helpful because this two-way trust thing isn't quite playing out right now.
Friend Ava, I feel like we started this exchange of information off on the wrong foot. One of keeping things from one another. This friendship cannot grow. Are we but neighbors in Barovia?
All right, yeah, we saw the cultists. We saw them.
There's flourish to this. I
We
whip off
feared-
my cloak.
We saw them. We stumbled upon them when they were just finishing their summoning, and the aspect of Chernavog, who I was able to identify because of his verdant green cloaks, he kind of kicked our ass, and we're looking to get at the cultists because, well, we can't kill Chernavog, so we figure we can take care of the cultists and go around the backside and kind of get rid of them that way. Maybe convince some of the cultists that they did wrong and to banish him again.
We feared for our safety initially to reveal this information because we were afraid of listening ears of the very traitors that you just mentioned. You know, it wasn't distrust for you, but for your for potential rats.
As if I can't control my own people. But I can see how you don't know us so well yet. I need time to think about this. Come back tomorrow morning, and I will tell you what I'm willing to do for you. Or what I can do for you.
Seems fair.
All right.
Heinrich, you good?
Sounds good.
Can we get to the town and back for tomorrow morning, or is that too far?
You would have to press really hard
Okay,
to
so
do that.
Not. It's not worth it.
We do know somebody that stays here. We could have a sleepover with our good old buddy Matthews. He just walks into his tent and it's only Heinrich sitting there. We need to talk.
Oh.
Is that how you want to do this? Because you got all afternoon.
Wait. Before we leave, have we already left Madame Ava's tent?
Not yet.
Not necessarily.
Can
She's got like a wagon, but it's a larger wagon than everybody else because of her size.
Can I quickly show her the little figurine that I've been carving and ask her if she knows who this person is, and say they tried to kill us out of the blue, like we were just camping, minding our business, and
Oh right,
Heinrich.
that
The
dude.
vampire?
Yeah.
Right. Excellent. Good move. Just a second here. Let me bring up his information so I've got it. There we are. Okay. There, she says, is a face that I have not seen in many years. And she thinks about it for a few moments. This reminds me of a fighter of some renown. His name was Kavan. Kavan the Grim. He was a mercenary, and it's said that he died on the battlefield, but yet came back to plague his foes, and then stood victorious over them once avenging his own death before he disappeared. The rumor was that he came back a vampire, but nobody has seen him since. At least, nobody has seen him and lived.
New world record, guys.
Get it, guys. We can all go home.
We technically lived, I mean.
So, how is it that you came to see this, to craft this appearance? For it's truly uncanny, your skill.
Many a night carving likenesses of people who tried to kill us. It's an acquired skill. I like to remember
This man has
potential
attacked
enemy.
you?
Yeah, we were camping, literally minding our own business, done nothing wrong, and these skull bats came from the sky, tried to suck our souls out of our mouths, and then he smacked Heinrich with a sword.
Yes, you did.
I'm a lot less elegant with my words than Heinrich. But
Yeah, your mention of, what did you call them, skullbats?
skull bats.
Raises an eyebrow, being a particularly childish description of something that she has no knowledge of, apparently, or at least she can't puzzle it out from your description. But she nods, and well, I imagine you couldn't have imagined this face. If you did see this man, then perhaps the rumors of his vampirism is true, and I would recommend that if you see him again, that you simply run. Unless you're prepared to take on a vampire, that is.
I'm not even
Do
sure
you
how
even
we
know
would
what a
deal.
vampire is?
I'm not sure how we would deal with one,
Yeah, I mean, they're
other
the
than putting
things-
lots of holes in them.
Yeah, they suck blood. They turn into bats. I mean, my
She nods and says, "It's true. Some of them have mastered the ability to change form, though not many do." And she's thinking about it. She says, "This I tell you for free. This is a public service announcement of sorts.
good neighbors.
For if a vampire is roaming these woods, he is a threat to us all. Vampires may only truly be killed by a few things. They're reluctant they're reluctant to cross running water, and if submerged, might potentially be killed that way. A wooden stake to the heart is common lore, but what is not as so well known is that it must be wood from a sacred tree. Holy water, effective if you can find a priest to bless it, but usually not more than a deterrent. Symbols of faith are only useful if wielded by the faithful, and again, often not much more than a deterrent, particularly of a vampire of any age. Decapitation always works.
That's yeah.
That's a favorite.
That's more my speed. I figure you cut the head off anything, it's gonna stop moving.
But in general, the vampires that survive to be anything more than a scourge, the ones that are truly a threat, have some measure of cunning or intelligence beyond that of most men or women. So if you see a vampire who's been around for more than a couple of years, as this one may have been, you should be very, very careful, for things may not be what they seem.
Right, so kill first, ask questions later.
She chuckles. If you can, just remember that a vampire who takes too much, who is on the verge of being beaten, is just as likely to turn to mist and float away and recover, and seek their revenge on another day.
Madam Ava, in my many travels, I have heard multiple tellings of vampires or other similar creatures having an aversion to garlic. Is there any truth to that?
I've heard this, but I've not found anything to substantiate it. It's possible that it may work, and garlic is plentiful enough that you could certainly try. But I would not make that your only line of defense.
I was thinking that not necessarily using it as a weapon, but we just eat a ton of garlic, make our blood like rat poison.
One could also say that this rumor is probably spread by vampires who wish to, season the prey. May as well hang some sage around your neck. Maybe
Garlic
walk around
gives
with
me
a sprig of
gas
parsley
anyways.
in your hair as a garnish.
Maybe I will. I might still smell a little from that previous altercation.
It's a little like a ghoul.
She wrinkles her
think-
nose in distaste at the memory of the ghoul stench and says that would probably be a much more effective deterrent than garlic.
Alright, so we got a vampire not happy with us, we got a demon not happy with us. Right.
We got a Madame Eva annoyed with us.
Since you saw this demon, could you tell me what happened to it? What direction had it gone in?
It went towards the castle.
Yes, it would. And she clams up again, realizing that she just muttered something again that she hadn't intended you to hear.
So earlier you mentioned not being forward with information, and you seem to have information that might help us.
Mind your elders. I told you tomorrow, I meant tomorrow.
I can wait until tomorrow. I'm rather hungry as it is, so.
Now, I've had quite enough of all this chatter, and I still have more work to do. So, off with you now, and come see me after breakfast in the morning. Mind you, not too early. I tend to sleep in when I'm thinking. Rest the little gray cells.
Alright. Well, goodbye, I think. Goodbye and thank you. I'll see you in the morning. Wonderful, Madame Eva.
Yes, yes, yes. The door slams itself shut as you walk out.
What do you think it is she does all day? Because when we walked in there, she was just hanging out.
Can't be good for her back.
No.
Being
Oh,
that
I mean,
way.
it's so.
Her back is not in terribly good repair, or so it would seem. So you have a little more than half the afternoon and all of the evening in front of you. So, for the next 6 hours or so, you have an opportunity where you can occupy yourselves, or we can just fast forward to the morning thing.
I go looking for garlic. and prepare a hearty meal.
There's plenty of garlic available in the evening meals that are being prepared by dozens of people when you get later on in the afternoon.
Alright.
I
I just chow down. No point in not doing it.
handing out pamphlets and literature about the god of the blazing sun, just to vistani, just be like, let's talk later. We can talk. Out of your people.
After the first 5 or 10 minutes of trying to hand this stuff out, people get a general sense of what you're about, and they all kind of disappear or find themselves elsewhere whenever you start to draw near to them. Nobody wants to engage with you.
I've got something to talk to you about. It's really exciting. Why is everybody leaving?
I'm gonna ask about their defenses and how, in our few days in this realm, we've been in some pretty big trouble. I'm wondering how their little camp of seemingly harmless people manages to stay safe.
Well, anybody that you pose this question to are going to give you a little wry smile or a chuckle when you say harmless. They certainly don't think of themselves that way, and several of them are produce knives out of seemingly nowhere, and otherwise are happy to challenge you to an archery contest for a few coin. But the gist of it is that ever since the word of the zombie outbreak in town, they've been keeping regular patrols, out gathering wood and hunting. You're also keeping an eye out for things. It's just as much a patrol as it is all in a day's labor. People tend to be just a little bit more mobile than usual, so they don't get quite as much done because they're doing a little bit more patrolling than they are actual out in the woods stuff.
And has there been any mass attacks on the encampment, or is it they've stayed pretty much clear of trouble?
Well, none of the undead have made it out this far, if that's what you mean. We have had some of our people not return, and apart from some blood here and there, we never could locate the bodies or determine how it is exactly that they had died and then disappeared. The wolves are more active than they have been in a great long while. We always assumed that they were somewhat behind it, but the deaths, usually when a wolf kills somebody, they eat what they need and then the rest is left behind, and there's no sign of that here.
And no sign of skullbats.
No. You get weird looks whenever you mention skullbats. Nobody really knows what to make of that. Although there are a couple of people who will admit to having seen, or admit, wink, to having seen strange lights in the distance in the woods before, but they never actually saw close up what was making those.
Boy, something must really have it in for us around here.
Just one possible explanation.
I guess
I
we're
mean,
just
besides me.
Yeah, I guess we're just such a pack of badasses. We're just naturally
Attract trouble?
Yeah.
The danger sense.
Yeah.
We find trouble wherever we go. We root it out.
It's more like danger senses you and says, "Ooh, gonna have some fun tonight." All right. So, unless there's any additional line of questioning that you want to pursue during the day, we can fast forward. Did you guys want to attempt to talk to Matthews when he returns?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to attempt to ambush him as you suggested before, just be waiting for him at his campfire sort of thing?
I think it would be hilarious, but my compatriots may not find the humor that Heinrich has a very dry sense of humor, so
I think I'm gonna unfortunately vote for not doing that because I think it's fair of Matthews to be a little suspicious of us given how we treated him in general. Like, we did tie him up, and I think you might have threatened torture at one point. I'm not sure.
enhanced interrogation technique. Please call it what it is.
Alright. Sorry. Didn't mean to characterize it.
All right. So that's one vote for and one vote against. Ember, how do you vote?
Well, seeing that as he could sour Madame Ava against us, I suppose we better let the little twerp alone for now.
Not play a practical joke against him.
Not yet.
All right.
Yet.
So, being that they're not, the Vistani aren't celebrating your great victory or anything, there really aren't any invitations to join people around the campfire, particularly after the proselytizing events and all these questions about your defenses and how are you vulnerable and have you seen strange things in the night? We can help. People are just pretty much, that's a lot of interaction in the middle of their day-to-day chores, and they just feel that they had kind of enough. Aha, yeah, you got it. So you guys are left kind of making camp for yourself. You could barter for some ingredients and some firewood if you need it, but you're going to have to make your own fire, prepare your own meal, unroll your bedrolls, that sort of thing.
That's fine.
All right.
Make a garlic stir
And-
fry for everyone.
Night falls. In the middle of the night. Oh, wait. You have an elf, right? Kenthis? Half
What?
elf?
No. No.
No?
I'm human.
Oh, for some reason I thought so. No,
We're all
everybody's
humans
human.
here.
I'd be a really
Okay.
lame half elf if I was one.
Yeah, every half elf is good at something.
Ragnar's a human. I thought Heinrich isn't a half elf. He's
Nope.
full human.
100%
No,
human.
everybody's human.
Wow, four
Which
humans.
actually fits Ravenloft very well. It's just confusing with the other group.
It's a good thing nobody chose Tiefling. The Barovia is peeking out right now.
Heinrich would have plenty to work with there. All right.
Metamaker
So,
weeks on a demon. Yeah, right there.
In the middle of the night, would like to have everybody make a perception style check. So let's say Constitution, actually. Make a Constitution check to see if you hear a noise while you're sleeping. I'm choosing Constitution because how deeply do you sleep?
I got a 28.
All right. Anybody not sleeping as soundly as him?
I'm having trouble with my.
I've slept in hellholes before, so.
I'm apparently sleeping incredibly deep. I rolled a natural 1, so I am just out of it. I had a busy day. I'm tuckered.
I got 16.
All right. Yep. So the only one that would hear this is Bryant. In the middle of the night, well after midnight, Bryant awakes. He's not even sure what he heard, but instinct tells him to take a quick look around before he falls back asleep, for many lives have been lost in the near the breaches where the demons come to Earth. For many, any person who doesn't trust their instincts and check things out when they feel something is wrong. This is how people die, right? And sure enough, he sees this black shadow of a silhouette leaning over Kenthis in the middle of the night, and he sees a flash of metal like a blade.
Oh, jeez.
I'm half.
Matthews.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try and grab him.
Okay, so for that to work, you have to be sleeping relatively nearby. Not a problem. So I'm going to say roll initiative.
And I do have my boots of ferocious advance.
Really? You wear your boots to sleep? You
In
can.
the
It's
sleeping
just a
bag with
question.
him.
So I got a. I rolled a 19, so that would be 26 initiative.
Okay. So that's more than enough to move faster than this black shape. So you reach out and you grab at this black shape that's leaning over Kenthis, and you grab the knife hand, and your grip sinks into the wrist, and it cries out in surprise and drops the knife, and tries to tug away, but fails because of your superior strength.
All right, I'm gonna alert Kenthis and Heinrich and drag this person closer to the fire. Who are you and what are you doing here?
All right. So at this point, you're not keeping anything quiet, and the young man that you're dragging. Well, I say young man. the man that you're dragging by the arm over to the fire struggles, tries to pull away, and fails to break your grip. And so he keeps his eye turned away from the light and to keep his head in shadow because he's wearing a hood. He's wearing dark robes very similar to those, or perhaps the same, as the cultists that you were attempting to track down. When he realizes that the attempt to escape is going to be futile, he reaches into a pouch at his waist.
I'm going to put him in a bear hug. Just completely wrap him up.
All right.
And basically pin his arms to his side and...
Make an attack roll. Strength or dex, whichever's best for you.
Okay. 15 plus 6, 21 plus 4, 25.
All right. He reaches his hand up to put a wad of something in his mouth, and that's when you pin his arm, so he can't actually reach up to eat it. And he continues to struggle and kick, but you have held him fast.
Heinrich, get me some rope.
Yeah, I got it. I actually have some manacles.
whatever you use for your enhanced interrogation.
Do I get to do that?
Yes.
I grab his hand, manacle it, put it behind his back. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney.
You have
I
the
like
right
that
to
you
get
just
your
have those on hand.
What was that?
I like that he just has those on hand. Just
Of course he does.
and it makes perfect
Yeah.
sense.
Of course, on click hand.
Why you hug?
So yeah, I think
What is this paraphernalia you got here, son? Drugs are no good. Lead you down the wrong path.
It's kind of a paste of different stuff. You can recognize some that it's made of leaves and other natural matter, and it seems to be mashed with some animal fat or grease to help hold it together. It's very greasy in your fingers.
Throw it into the fire.
All right.
No, wait, no. If you burn poison ivy and you inhale it, that's not good.
I'm about to throw it in the fire, and then I'm like, you like weird reagents and stuff. Here you go, man.
I'll
Good call.
Actually, yeah, that could be useful.
I give it to Kenthis.
Why you hug? The pure
All right.
sign.
John,
So-
stop hitting the helium.
that's my sister. Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
All right. So you now have this thing that he tried to feed himself when he couldn't escape. Are you doing anything with it, or are you just storing it for later?
I'm just gonna stick it in my pack. I mean, I'll secure it. Well, in fact, how big is this pouch?
The pouch itself is about the size of a coin purse. It didn't hold much more than what he took out of it. It seems like it was only being used to carry this.
All right, I'll strap it to my belt. Easy access.
Alright, so you replace it into the small pouch, and you put the pouch on your belt, and the cultist eyes you venomously as you do so. And the moment that he has his hands free, he licks his fingers, hoping to get enough of whatever it was into his mouth that perhaps it'll still be effective.
Oh, he's been manacled. He's been tied up.
Yeah, we've got a manacled. His hands are behind his back.
Oh, behind his back then. Okay.
It's not my first rodeo.
That must be some lethal stuff.
I'm gonna
Bring
kind of
him over
rub
to
my
the fire.
hands. Gonna rub my hands together and say, "It's time to go to work, Heinrich."
I pull out my scalpel and then my knuckle breaker.
So you're laying out your instruments of interrogation, and +1.
Yeah.
And this noise, of course, has woken up some of your neighbors or the Vistani. You're surrounded by them in a sense. And a lot of people are peering out from where they are, and some individuals are coming over to see what's going on. And those that see that you have a prisoner are waiting to see who the prisoner is, because, what's going on here in the middle of our camp and blah, blah, blah. So this is a matter of concern, and it's very quickly becoming a community matter where, kids are looking out from behind their mother's knees, and sons are coming out with their fathers to see what dad's doing and learning from him how to handle situations like this. And here's Heinrich unrolling his leather toolkit, whack, and taking out the brass knuckles and putting them on top of the sleeve, and taking out the next tool, putting it on top of the sleeve, and limbering up his fingers and loosening up his shoulders and getting ready to go. And
it's good that the children will see this. It's a good way to teach them not to blaspheme.
And before I do, look at all the people and say, you thought us asking about your defenses was silly. Look, we were right. We were right. Ember, if you would do the honors and uncloak this man.
All right, I will. I'll take back his hood and I'll lean real close to him and say, I suggest you answer this man's questions correctly, quickly, and succinctly.
I'll throw in more like less of a threat and more like, seriously, I don't want to see this.
Oh, can't hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, I muted myself because
underneath it is another hood. No, you pull back the hood and you reveal a man probably in his mid-20s. He doesn't look familiar to you, and neither does he seem to look familiar to the other Vistani, or at least nobody says something at the time.
it's Old Man Jenkins.
It's that old lady who we were talking to earlier, Ember. No. So, where you from?
Why were you holding a knife to our friend?
And he just stands there tight-lipped and glaring.
You know what they say, Heinrich? It's
What's
hard
that?
to be tight-lipped when you have no lips.
That is true. And I punch him in the gut. Not Ember. Not Ember. Ember and I
Yeah.
rough him up a little bit and then ask him again.
So your captive doubles over and wheezes, and he tries to catch his breath again. And he's got that one staggering step, keeping his balance, and he straightens up, and he just looks at you, and he's like, but his hands are tied behind his back, and Ember's got one of his big meaty hands on his shoulder with the fingers digging in. He's got nowhere to go. He's just got to stand there and take it. All right, so this is where we begin to interrogate.
Game took a real dark turn.
Would you like to make your first skill check?
Sure. What sort of ability would you like me to test?
Well, are you trying to beat it out of him? Are you trying to talk it out of him?
He feels like he's going to be a little bit of a rough customer. So, a little from column A, a little from column B, I think. I don't think I'm going to get out of him without having to, unfortunately... Well, for Heinrich, it's not unfortunate. He gets way too much pleasure out of this. But, I think it's going to have to be beat out of him.
All right. So I would probably do strength for raw force or intelligence for your enhanced techniques.
Okay.
Before he begins, I give him one last look, and I'm like, please, man, Just don't do this.
It has to be for the greater good.
No, not you. To the prisoner.
I'm gonna lean over to Heinrich and say, other than why he's here, what do we want to get out of him?
The location of the cultists, man.
Just want to make sure that we're headed in the same direction.
I just want to beat somebody. No.
You may continue.
I think I will be intelligent about it. I don't want to necessarily kill the guy. I want him to be able to talk and give us information. So
no tongue stuff.
Yeah, I'm not gonna cut off his lips or his tongue. No, I'll be precise. And so even though intelligence is like one of my worst stats, I'm gonna use intelligence. And I will also use my interrogator background.
To the death? No, to the pain.
11.
With the bonuses?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Wow.
It was almost a 17. The dice was 17. I was like, yes, I got this. And then it rolled over to the 3.
So, after that first brute force blow to show that you mean business, you start being a little bit more methodical. I wouldn't call it a light touch, but you go for nerve points, pressure points, and you're just kind of demonstrating your knowledge of how to make a body hurt without inflicting traditional wounds on them. And although you know this is an excruciating thing, you've put other people through this before, you know exactly how this guy ought to be reacting. And he is, but for some reason, just in the middle of it, he just kind of breaks up laughing. And he says, you think that I'm afraid of you? You think that I'm afraid of pain? You know, after, oh geez, what is her name? Hold on. It is nothing compared to what Baba Zelena would do to me if I told you anything.
I think we found our she.
And he hears that, and he's like,
See? It works.
So, do you know the relationship your Baba Yaga, or whatever her name is, has with the leader of this camp, Madame Ava?
all right. You ask this question, and there's a surprise sound coming from the crowd. And if you happen to look around, you see that people have disapproving looks on their face. I mean, you're her guest in the camp, and you're just implying that this person may have some connection. This potential murderer or thief may have some connection to the person who leads this camp, in public, in front of people who live here.
I'm sorry, I might have missed this. Is he an elf?
No, he's human.
Oh.
Because we've heard rumors of a woman trying to deal Madame Ava harm, and we're trying to prevent that at all possibilities.
Nice save.
All right. So,
It'd be in your best interest to help us out here, unless you want to be subject
make
to
some
further.
sort of interrogation roll.
Okay, I am going to use my basic thuggery skills, and I'm going to
Break his kneecap.
I'm just gonna start easy with the fingers. I'm gonna just start breaking fingers.
All right. So we're definitely going for the intimidation value of pain.
Wait. I gotta.
I think we're voting.
I need to
interject.
I'm sorry, Kenthis. Do you
Is it time for good cop already?
So there's two aspects of this that I
bad
have.
cop, worse cop?
On the one hand, there's the fact that we are interrogating a prisoner in another person's village, and I feel like maybe that's not the best for Madame Ava's goodwill.
She said not to wake her before breakfast, and I am inclined to agree with her. If we can take care of this before breakfast.
That is one way of looking at it, and the other is that, I guess morally this seems like a dark turn for our heroes to take.
Dark.
I guess.
What are you talking about? For the greater good.
But
Somebody tried you in
Who
the
said
middle of
we
the
were
night.
good?
actually, okay, wait. I can
And,
actually fix this. I can fix this. I have
Oh,
a
yeah?
spell. I have a spell.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, if you want to give a crack at it, I kind of...
As you're about to break his finger, I'll interject to get a little extra bit of goodwill from him, and I'm gonna cast Unearthly Glamour. I hope this works.
Alright,
Sorcerer.
what does that do?
That gives me a huge charisma bonus,
Alright.
as I'm not.
Roll a 1.
Yeah, that would be just like me.
We know how this goes.
We do.
Okay, so the roll was 11. Now I have to look up what my bonus is. So I get plus 5, 20, 26. Alright, I got a 26 total.
Alright, excellent. So,
It's basically all along the lines of, we're going to get this out of you, whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not. These guys like it way too much. So let's just make this easy on all of us, because the end result's the same either way. This is with my shimmery, convincing trust voice.
alright. So, he frowns because he doesn't know exactly why he's thinking these thoughts. It's almost as if he's trying to puzzle out whether he's being influenced or not, but can't make it out. He figures there's got to be magic involved, but he's caught up in it, so he doesn't understand why it is that he feels like opening up. And so eventually, he's like, how do I want to play this? Okay, so he says, I was here to kill you before you could share what you know.
Too late. Who sent you?
And again, he hesitates before answering. He says, Paulo sent me.
Sorry, what was that?
Paulo sent me.
Paulo?
Paulo.
Put that in the chat so I remember it. And where does your master hail from?
He's from town.
Alright.
Ask where the other.
And where do you hail
cultists
from?
are.
I'm also from town.
And what did you say, Heinrich?
Ask where the other cultists are.
Do you know the where? I don't know. Do we want to? I mean, I guess he's either going to be dead or imprisoned. Are you aware of the whereabouts of a certain group of cultists?
You look a lot like them. You fit the profile.
Oh, does he? I didn't notice that part. Okay.
He says, cultists. Yes, you might see us that way. But we are everywhere. We have people everywhere. We have, and then that's when you see this form looming over the back
God.
of the gathered vistani, and you know that Madame Ava is now on the scene. And one of her men muscles his way through the crowd and smacks the guy across the face and says, we apologize for failing to keep you safe while you're guest within our camp. We will take this from here.
Madam Ava, if I might interject, we have already subdued this prisoner, and I'm hoping that we might receive information from him that would identify his compatriots who might still be at large even within this camp.
She says, I'm sure that you would, and it is my hope as well. However, since you were less than forthcoming earlier, I'm afraid that it is in my best interest to keep this matter in hand. I have the safety of my people to keep in mind, after all.
Would you?
However, we do find that we are once again in your debt for capturing and ending this threat before he could wreak more havoc in the camp.
See,
And you may call upon me again. I will let you know our appointment should be pushed off till about the afternoon, as it'll take some time to consider what this fine young gentleman has to tell me.
Okay. Has she turned away now?
She hasn't turned away yet. She's glaring disapprovingly at her people while her strong man walks the guy out.
All right. Can I discreetly let loose Fergus? And do I have to say it to him, or since he's my familiar, will he pretty much get my intent? Because I would like him to follow the.
You will have to whisper to him what's going on, but you could do so without likely being observed, as most people's attention are on the prisoner being walked out, or on Madame Ava.
Alright.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to assume I have to ask. I know that this isn't going to be a thing, but he can't actually listen in on human conversations, right? He wouldn't be able to.
He can, but because he can't speak a human language, he lacks the ability to communicate that information back to you in a meaningful way.
Okay.
So maybe he can convey back emotions or general concepts, but he's not going to understand and relay a conversation to you. Could tell you where he is.
Alright. Either way, I want to bring back as much as he can, so that's what I whisper to him.
Alright. So,
before they go off, I'm just going to say to Madame Ava, I would just like to point out that your people weren't in danger from this man. It was Kenthis that was very nearly stabbed and killed in the night. So take that into consideration, if you will.
We've already acknowledged that we have failed to keep you safe while you were guests here. It is not polite to rub our noses in it. As for whether he possesses a threat to our camp or not, he's already demonstrated the ability to slip past our scouts, and it is up to us to decide how much of a threat he is or is not to us. And she nods as if that explanation should be the end of the debate, and then she turns around to follow her man as he drags away the prisoner. That
Very
last
well.
die I rolled was for how many more questions you get to ask him before she interrupted.
Alright, so we know Paulo, he's from the village, and so is his master. Hey, wait a minute. He should be sentenced. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I guess they don't really care. I was thinking that technically, legally, he should probably be convicted in his own village, but I don't think they really care.
Well, maybe we can make that argument later that, hey, we should bring it back to Irina if he is indeed from the town, and if he is indeed homed there, then it's kind of her jurisdiction.
Yeah, he deserves the town's justice.
Alright. So we're at a little over an hour and a half since the session started, because I think we got started pretty much 8 o'clock. Seems like if we're not at a natural stopping point, then we're at another point where it's like, okay, what do we do now? So we can either jump ahead to Madame Ava in the morning, or afternoon, I should say, and try and play that out before we call it quits for the night. Or we can save that as the opening scene and then be able to bring in, we hope, Ragnar on this, which may also be helpful if things turn ugly.
Yeah, that's kind of my concern because it feels like we keep bumping heads with Madame Ava, and it seems like that unfortunately might be a path that may happen. So it may be wise to have Ragnar with us if that's the case.
So then, before we wrap it up, I want to ask you guys, why is it that you think that, and we don't have to explore this and decide what it is. I'm just wondering, why is it that you think that perhaps Madame Ava is being a little less than fully cooperative?
Because finders keepers. He was our prisoner.
Yeah, she's getting him out of there pretty quickly. Like I said in the chat, the only thing that's sticking in my head of why it may be okay is that if he is indeed working for the hag, who we still haven't told her we killed, if he is working for her, she might be able to more effectively get answers out of him than we can. And I want to see what she does with them. Kind of give her enough rope to
hang herself,
or somebody,
or at least show, play her hand. Of course, she may just kill him and say, "Oh, he resisted, he had to be killed," and that kind of doesn't lead us anywhere. That kind of puts us back in the okay: is she telling the truth or is she covering something?
Fergus will catch that. I trust Fergus. He's a good man.
Let's hope he doesn't get killed.
Well, yeah, remember, he's had just about 24 hours to recover from his being eaten and then pulled out of some old hag's guts. So
the hag... Sorry. Never mind. I had a train of thought, but I lost it. Never mind.
All right. So, do you have anything to add or to rebut? Do you have anything that you want to add to what Ember offered, or maybe a competing theory?
She seemed really, really cagey whenever we mentioned Lysaga Hill, and we all know that's where the hag was. And then whenever she mentioned she, it seemed to confirm that. So, I mean, to me, it makes sense that whenever Paulo's buddy that we were interrogating mentioned the Baba Talana or whatever, I don't know. Maybe she's got some sort of connection with her, and that's why she's being so cagey.
I'm
Okay.
a little. Wait, who's you go?
No, your turn.
All right. I'm a little less suspicious of her than the other two, maybe. I feel like she probably just doesn't trust us for maybe understandable reasons, since we've got a torturer and a demon hunter and a very incompetent wizard or sorcerer.
So you think it's more because maybe you guys antagonized her than it is for any agenda she might have?
Yeah, and also that she doesn't trust us, and maybe rightfully so.
Okay.
Because we're loose cannons.
Well, I think that makes a decent wrap-up for the potential situation that you have to deal with right now to end the night on. So, thank you guys. I know, John, you had a little bit of connection issue there, but I think we had a good session despite that.
Yeah, I had fun.
And I feel good about coming back. Sure.
In my notes, I have it that the hag... one of my notes says possibly related to Eva, like she resembled her in some way. Is that accurate? Is that an accurate note?
Well, she wasn't hunched over like Eva was, but she's tall like Eva was, and exaggerated features. But in her case, the exaggerated features were a grotesque thing that you could barely stand to look at. She really was ugly.
And what about her other form, her concealment form, I guess?
Well, Well, she actually turned invisible. She had a ring that did that.
I thought when we first came in, she looked different. Maybe I'm misreading it. No,
You
all I
know,
have,
I don't recall. I'd have to go back to the episode
Oh yeah,
and
she
watch.
was beautiful at first, and then we hit her, and she was not beautiful.
Well, that being the case, don't you think that if Madame Ava could make herself look beautiful, that perhaps she would?
Oh, is she not beautiful?
well played.
No,
Well
she
played.
really does. In fact, there's a picture of her in the book, and it's near something I had bookmarked, so I can have this up pretty quick. This is Madame Ava.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, not the most.
Yeah, except that slightly hunched over form is 8 feet tall.
All right.
And she does have fingernails like claws. So
I trust her like 10 times less now. That's some visual
she may have
foreshadowing.
So, like I said, I think this recaps how we're ending things really well. So we're going to call that a night for this session. And then when we come back, you guys will deal with Madame Ava and the prisoner, and whatever change in attitude the Vistani may or may not have towards you based on that. I'm sure you guys are going to have more questions for everybody. And hopefully we will have Ragnar back to help watch your backs in case something else happens. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.